Emma Rodriguez picked another flower from the community garden and put it in her small basket. The 8-year-old girl hummed a song her mother taught her while she worked in the warm morning sun. New Haven Colony was quiet today, just like most days on this peaceful farming world at the edge of known space. The girl loved helping in the garden, where the colonists grew food for everyone. She knew which plants were ready to pick and which ones needed more time to grow. Her father Carlos always said she had magic hands that made everything grow better. 3 metal shapes appeared in the sky above the settlement. Emma looked up and shaded her eyes with her hand. The ships were different from the supply vessels that came from Earth every few months. These had sharp edges and dark colors that made her feel scared. The ships landed near the garden with loud noises that hurt her ears. Dust flew everywhere and made her cough. Emma wanted to run to her father, but her feet would not move. She had never seen ships like these before. 3 tall creatures walked out of the ships. They looked like giant lizards standing on 2 legs. Their skin was green and covered with scales. Yellow eyes stared at everything around them. Sharp teeth showed when they opened their mouths to speak in voices that sounded like rocks grinding together. Captain Jake Martinez ran toward the landing site with 5 other members of the Colonial Defense Force. Jake was a good man who always helped protect the settlers. His face looked worried as he approached the strange visitors. "Welcome to New Haven Colony," Jake said in a steady voice. "I am Captain Martinez of the Colonial Defense Force. Can we help you with something?" The biggest lizard creature laughed, and the sound made Emma want to hide. "Humans," it said in broken English, "always so polite and weak. We are Zephyrians of the great Galactic Empire. You will give us what we want, or we will take it anyway." Jake kept his hands away from his weapon. "What do you want from our colony? We are peaceful farmers here." "We want food, supplies, and entertainment," the Zephyrian leader said. "Your people will provide all 3. Carlos Rodriguez heard the commotion and ran from the administrative building toward the garden. He could see his daughter Emma standing frozen near the flower beds. Fear filled his heart when he saw the armed aliens near his child. "Please," Carlos called out as he ran closer. "Do not hurt anyone here. We will give you supplies if you need them." The Zephyrian leader turned his yellow eyes toward Carlos. "Another weak human. Your species disgusts us with your pathetic begging." Emma saw her father running toward her and broke free from her fear. She dropped her flower basket and started running toward Carlos with her arms stretched out. "Daddy!" she cried. The second Zephyrian pulled out an energy weapon that glowed with blue light. "Look how the little human runs to its parent, like an animal seeking protection." "Do not point that weapon at my daughter," Carlos shouted as he ran faster. The Zephyrian aimed the weapon at Emma and laughed. "Let us see how fast human children can run." Jake Martinez moved his hand toward his sidearm, but the third Zephyrian was faster. A stun blast hit Jake and knocked him to the ground. The other Defense Force members raised their weapons, but they were outnumbered and outgunned. Emma was halfway to her father when the blue energy beam hit her. The blast threw her small body through the air like a broken toy. She landed hard on the ground and did not move. Smoke rose from her burned clothes and skin. "Emma!" Carlos screamed as he reached his daughter. Half of her face and body were burned badly. Her breathing was weak and fast. Blood soaked into the dirt beneath her. The Zephyrian who shot her put his weapon away and laughed harder. "Humans break so easily, even the small ones." Dr. Lisa Park heard the screaming and ran from the medical center with her emergency kit. She was the only doctor on New Haven and had treated many injuries before, but nothing like this. The sight of Emma's burned body made her stomach sick. "Get away from her," Lisa ordered the Zephyrians as she knelt beside Emma. The child's pulse was very weak and her breathing was getting worse. "The little human still lives," the Zephyrian leader observed. "How boring. Usually they die faster." Carlos held Emma's unburned hand while Lisa worked to stabilize her condition. Tears ran down his face as he whispered to his daughter, "Stay with Daddy, Emma. Please stay with me." Jake Martinez struggled to his feet and activated his emergency communicator. The device would broadcast everything that happened to other human colonies and Earth Command. Every word and image would be recorded and sent across human space. "This is Captain Martinez of New Haven Colony," Jake spoke into the device while the Zephyrians watched. "We are under attack by Zephyrian raiders. They have critically injured a child. I repeat, aliens have attacked an 8-year-old human child." The Zephyrian leader walked over and looked at the communicator. "Let them hear. Let all humans know what happens when they displease the Galactic Empire. Your species is nothing but insects to us." Lisa injected Emma with pain medication and wrapped her burns in special bandages. The child's condition was very serious and she needed surgery right away. "We have to get her to the medical center now," Lisa told Carlos. The 3 Zephyrians spent the next hour taking whatever they wanted from the colony. They loaded their ships with food, tools, and anything else that caught their interest. The colonists could only watch and help their injured. Before leaving, the Zephyrian leader walked back to where Carlos sat beside Emma's bed in the medical center. "Your daughter will die slowly and painfully. Remember that the great Galactic Empire did this. Remember that humans mean nothing to us." The 3 ships lifted off and disappeared into space. The colonists gathered around the medical center while Lisa fought to save Emma's life. The little girl drifted in and out of consciousness, sometimes calling for her daddy. Jake Martinez made sure the emergency broadcast kept transmitting. Every detail of what happened would reach Earth and every human colony. The footage of Emma being shot would be seen by billions of people across human space. Carlos never left his daughter's side. He held her small hand and sang the same songs. She hummed in the garden. "Fight, Emma," he whispered. "Daddy needs you to fight." Admiral Ben Cooper sat at his desk in Human Defense Command when the priority message from New Haven Colony came through his computer screen. He had been a military officer for 30 years and seen many terrible things during his service. Nothing prepared him for the footage of Emma Rodriguez being shot by the Zephyrian raider. Ben watched the recording 3 times before he could trust his voice to remain steady. The sight of the 8-year-old girl being thrown through the air by the energy blast made his hands shake with anger. He had grandchildren the same age as Emma back on Earth. The Admiral activated his secure communication system and sent emergency alerts to every member of the Human Council. Within 2 hours, the most powerful people in human space gathered in the council chambers deep beneath Geneva. President Katie Sullivan entered the meeting room with a grim expression on her face. She had already seen the footage from New Haven and knew that everything was about to change. The attack on Emma Rodriguez would be the moment that historians would mark as the beginning of a new era. "Ladies and gentlemen," President Sullivan said as she took her place at the head of the table, "you have all seen what happened on New Haven Colony. A child was attacked by Zephyrian raiders for no reason except their own amusement. General Alex Turner stood up and activated the large display screen on the wall. Images of Emma's burned body filled the room and several council members looked away. "The child is still alive, but barely. Dr. Park reports that she will carry scars for the rest of her life if she survives." "How many times have we endured these attacks?" asked Senator Don Phillips. "How many colonies have been raided while we try to negotiate with the Galactic Empire? They treat us like animals." Admiral Cooper placed his hands flat on the table. "For 20 years we have been building our strength in secret. The other species think we are primitive because we achieve space travel later than them. They have no idea what human science has accomplished." "Project Prometheus," General Turner sighed quietly. "Everything we have been preparing for leads to this moment." President Sullivan nodded slowly. "Show them what we have built, Alex." General Turner entered his security code and new images appeared on the screen. Massive ships under construction in hidden facilities throughout the solar system. Weapons that could destroy planets. Technology that made the Galactic Empire's military look like children playing with toys. "While they laughed at us, we studied their weaknesses," Turner explained. "While they ignored us, we developed weapons they cannot imagine. Our quantum lance arrays can tear holes in space itself. Our dimensional warfare capabilities allow us to attack from directions that do not exist in normal space. Commander Helen Brooks had been quiet during the meeting, but now she stood up. Her own son had died in a Zephyrian raid 5 years earlier. My boy was 12 when they killed him. They said it was target practice. How many more children have to die before we act? The Zephyrians made a mistake when they attacked Emma Rodriguez, Admiral Cooper said. They committed this crime while broadcasting to all of human space. Every colony, every ship, every human settlement has seen what they did to that little girl. Senator Phillips looked uncomfortable. We should consider a measured response. If we escalate too quickly, we could face the entire Galactic Empire in open war. Good, President Sullivan said firmly. Let them come. They have no idea what they are facing. Dr. Nina Shun entered the meeting room carrying a secured briefcase. She was Earth's chief weapons designer and had spent years developing humanity's secret arsenal. The quantum lance prototypes are ready for deployment. The dimensional torpedoes have passed all tests. Our ships can appear anywhere in the galaxy without warning. How long until we can launch operations? President Sullivan asked. The first strike fleet is ready now, Admiral Cooper replied. 100 ships equipped with our most advanced weapons. They can reach the Zephyrian home system in 3 weeks. General Turner brought up star charts showing Zephyrian territory. Their military doctrine has not changed in centuries. They rely on overwhelming numbers and primitive tactics. They have grown soft during years of easy victories against weaker species. What about the other members of the Galactic Empire? Asked Senator Phillips. The Andromedans, the Centaurians, the Rigel Alliance. They will learn to fear humanity. Or they will join the Zephyrians in extinction, Commander Brooks said coldly. No alien species will harm human children ever again. President Sullivan stood up and looked at each person around the table. I am authorizing Operation Wrath, Admiral. Cooper will lead the first strike fleet to Zephyrian space. General Turner will coordinate simultaneous attacks on Empire facilities throughout the galaxy. Dr. Chun will oversee deployment of our advanced weapons. What are our rules of engagement? Admiral Cooper asked. There are no rules, the President replied. The Galactic Empire declared war on humanity when they attacked Emma Rodriguez. We will respond with everything we have. News of the attack on New Haven spread through human space faster than any government announcement. Every colony received copies of the broadcast showing Emma being shot. Parents held their children closer and demanded action from their leaders. Captain Frank Walsh received his orders while his stealth ship was patrolling near Rigel Prime. The Shadow would scout Zephyrian military positions and identify primary targets for the first strike fleet. Frank had lost friends in previous alien raids and looked forward to returning the favor. On Luna Base, technicians loaded quantum torpedoes onto the UHS Retribution, Admiral Cooper's flagship. The weapons contained enough destructive power to crack a planet's crust. Each torpedo represented 20 years of human scientific advancement hidden from alien observers. Dr. Lisa Park continued her fight to save Emma Rodriguez while the galaxy prepared for war. The little girl's condition had stabilized, but she remained unconscious most of the time. When she did wake up, she asked her father why the aliens had hurt her. Carlos Rodriguez sat beside his daughter's bed and held her small hand. He did not know that her injuries had started a chain of events that would reshape the galaxy. All he cared about was keeping Emma alive until help arrived from Earth. Admiral Cooper stood in the bridge of the UHS Retribution as his fleet prepared to depart. 100 human warships powered up their quantum engines and prepared to jump to hyperspace. Each ship carried weapons that could destroy Zephyrian fleets with ease. All ships report ready for departure, his communications officer announced. Set course for the Kepler 442 system, Admiral Cooper ordered. Maximum speed. It is time to show the galaxy what happens when someone hurts our children. The first strike fleet disappeared into hyperspace, beginning humanity's war of vengeance against the Galactic Empire. The UHS Retribution cut through hyperspace toward the Zephyrian Home system with 99 other human warships following in perfect formation. Admiral Ben Cooper stood on the bridge watching the tactical displays that showed their progress toward Kepler 442. In 18 days, they would arrive at their destination and begin humanity's response to the attack on Emma Rodriguez, Captain. Frank Walsh guided his stealth ship, UHS Shadow, through the outer edges of Zephyrian space, gathering intelligence on enemy positions. The advanced cloaking systems made his vessel invisible to alien sensors, while he documented their military installations and fleet deployments. What Frank discovered shocked him more than he expected. The Zephyrian military had not evolved in over 2 centuries. Their ships still used the same basic designs and weapons that had dominated weaker species for generations. Their tactics relied on brute force and intimidation rather than strategy or innovation. They had grown lazy and complacent during years of easy victories. "This is almost too easy," Frank told his crew as they observed a Zephyrian patrol fleet. "Look at their formation. No screening vessels, no sensor pickets, no defensive positioning. They're flying like they own the galaxy and nothing can touch them." Lieutenant Commander Kate Morris studied the sensor readings from her position at the science station. "Their weapons are at least 50 years behind our current technology. Their shields use energy frequencies we learned to penetrate decades ago. Their armor plating cannot withstand quantum lance impacts." Frank recorded everything they observed and transmitted the intelligence back to Admiral Cooper through encrypted quantum communications. The Zephyrians had no idea that human technology had advanced so far beyond their understanding. Meanwhile, on New Haven Colony, Emma Rodriguez continued her slow recovery under Dr. Lisa Park's constant care. The 8-year-old girl spent most of her time sleeping, but when she was awake, she asked her father Carlos the same question over and over. "Daddy, why did they hurt me?" Emma whispered through bandages that covered half her face. "I was just picking flowers for Mommy's grave." Carlos Rodriguez felt his heart break every time his daughter asked that question. He could not explain to her that some creatures in the galaxy viewed humans as nothing more than animals to be hunted for sport. He could not tell her that her pain had started a war that would change everything. "I do not know, sweetheart," Carlos said softly while holding her unburned hand. "But Daddy promises that no one will ever hurt you again." News of Emma's attack had spread throughout human space faster than any government communication. Every colony received copies of the broadcast showing the Zephyrians shooting the little girl for no reason except entertainment. Parents on dozens of worlds looked at their own children and felt the same rage that burned in Admiral Cooper's heart. Recruitment centers on Earth and every human colony were overwhelmed with volunteers wanting to join the military. Young men and women who had never considered military service lined up to enlist after seeing what the aliens had done to Emma. The footage of her being thrown through the air by the energy blast became the most powerful recruiting tool in human history. General Alex Turner coordinated the massive military buildup from his command center, deep beneath the Rocky Mountains. Hidden factories throughout the solar system worked around the clock to produce quantum weapons and dimensional warfare equipment. Shipyards that the aliens knew nothing about launched new vessels every day. Production is ahead of schedule, Turner reported to President Katie Sullivan during their daily briefing. "We will have 500 ships ready for combat operations within 6 months. Our weapon stockpiles are sufficient to engage the entire Galactic Empire simultaneously." President Sullivan studied the strategic reports on her secure tablet. "What about the other alien species? Have they reacted to our military preparations?" "The Centaurians are asking questions about increased human ship movements," Turner replied. "The Andromedans have noticed our deep space construction projects. The Rigel Alliance seems unaware of anything unusual." "Let them wonder," the president said coldly. "They will understand soon enough." Dr. Nina Chen worked 18 hours a day in her laboratory, perfecting the weapons that would punish the Galactic Empire. The quantum lance arrays could fire beams of pure energy that existed in multiple dimensions simultaneously. No known armor or shielding could protect against such weapons. The targeting systems are calibrated, Nina reported to her research team. We can hit individual ships from distances that exceed their sensor range. They will never see the attacks coming. Her assistant, Dr. Robert Kim, reviewed the test data from their latest experiments. The dimensional torpedoes are even more effective than we hoped. They can bypass shields entirely by attacking through folded space. Target destruction is guaranteed. Nina thought about Emma Rodriguez every time she worked on the weapons. The little girl's burned face had become the symbol of human determination to never again tolerate alien aggression. Every weapon Nina created was dedicated to ensuring that no human child would suffer like Emma. High Chancellor Vextar of the Zephyrian Empire received routine reports about minor skirmishes with human settlements from his military commanders. The aging ruler was more interested in tribute negotiations with the Andromedans and barely paid attention to human affairs. His species had been raiding human colonies for years without any serious retaliation. The humans continue to be pathetic, reported General Crix during their weekly military briefing. Their colonial defense forces offer minimal resistance. Their weapons are primitive and their tactics are predictable. Vextar nodded absently while reviewing trade agreements with other species. Continue the raids as normal. The humans need to understand their place in the galactic order. Captain Steve Mitchell received his mission orders while stationed at Luna Base. His Marine battalion would be among the first ground forces to land on Zephyrian worlds during the initial assault. Steve had seen the footage of Emma Rodriguez and volunteered for the most dangerous assignments available. We go in hard and fast, Steve told his Marines during their final briefing. The aliens think humans are weak because we try to avoid civilian casualties. They are going to learn that we can be just as ruthless as them when they hurt our children. Agent Lucy Torres prepared for her deep cover mission behind enemy lines. The intelligence operative would sabotage Andromedans' communication networks. When the war began, preventing them from coordinating their response to human attacks. Lucy had lost her younger brother in an alien raid 3 years earlier. The Andromedans trust me because I have been trading with them for 5 years, Lucy explained to her handler. They think I am just another harmless human merchant. When I activate the virus in their systems, their entire communication grid will collapse. Commander Ryan Foster finalized preparations for his strike team's assault on the Empire's central command hub at Rigel Prime. The facility coordinated military operations across dozens of star systems, and its destruction would blind the alien forces during the crucial first hours of combat. We have been planning this operation for 2 years, Ryan told his team. Every detail has been studied and prepared. The aliens will never expect humans to strike at the heart of their empire. Emma Rodriguez opened her eyes and looked at her father sitting beside her hospital bed. The pain medication made everything seem distant and strange, but she could see tears on Carlos's face. She tried to smile, but the bandages made it difficult. "Daddy, are you sad?" she asked in a weak voice. Carlos squeezed her hand gently. "Daddy is just worried about you, sweetheart. But you are getting stronger every day." "The doctor said I will have scars," Emma whispered. "Will I look scary?" "You will always be beautiful to Daddy," Carlos promised. "And anyone who says different will have to answer to me." Admiral Cooper received final intelligence reports from Captain Walsh as the first strike fleet approached the edge of Zephyrian space. The enemy had no idea that human forces were approaching their home system. Their overconfidence would be their destruction. "All ships prepare to drop out of hyperspace," Admiral Cooper announced to his fleet. "Remember what we are fighting for. Remember Emma Rodriguez. Show them what happens when someone hurts our children." The human first strike fleet dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the Kepler 442 system like ghosts materializing from the void. 100 warships appeared simultaneously in perfect formation, their quantum engines creating ripples in space that the Zephyrian sensors could not detect until it was too late. Admiral Ben Cooper stood on the bridge of the UHS Retribution and studied the tactical displays showing Zephyrian positions throughout their home system. 3 heavily defended planets, dozens of military stations, and over 200 enemy warships spread across the star system in defensive patterns that had protected them for centuries. First target is the military academy on Zephyr 3, Admiral Cooper announced to his fleet commanders. That is where they train their raiders to attack innocent civilians. That is where they learn to shoot human children for sport. The Zephyrian Military Academy was built on the third moon of their homeworld, a massive complex that had trained generations of warriors to terrorize weaker species across the galaxy. 5,000 young Zephyrians were studying the art of warfare and conquest within its fortified walls. Lieutenant Commander Kate Morris operated the Quantum Lance targeting systems from her position on the UHS Retribution. The advanced weapons could fire beams of pure energy that existed in multiple dimensions simultaneously, making them impossible to block or deflect with conventional defenses. Target locked, Kate reported. Quantum Lance array charging to full power. Fire, Admiral Cooper ordered. The quantum lances fired in perfect synchronization, creating beams of light that seemed to bend reality around them. The energy struck the military academy and surrounding installations with the force of a small star going supernova. The entire complex vanished in a flash of dimensional fire that lasted only seconds, where the academy had stood moments before. Only empty space remained. 5,000 Zephyrian military cadets and their instructors had been reduced to scattered atoms across multiple dimensions. The first blow of humanity's war had eliminated an entire generation of future raiders. Alarm signals screamed through Zephyrian communication networks as their sensors finally detected the human fleet. General Crix rushed to the central command center on the home world capital and stared in disbelief at the tactical displays showing the destruction of their premier military training facility. "How is this possible?" Crix demanded from his communications officer. "The humans do not have weapons capable of this level of destruction." "Sir, we are detecting energy signatures unlike anything in our databases," the officer replied nervously. "The human ships are using technology we have never encountered before." High Chancellor Vexstar arrived at the command center still wearing his ceremonial robes from a diplomatic reception. The aging ruler had been entertaining Andromedan's ambassadors when the attack began and could not believe that the pathetic humans had dared to strike at the heart of Zephyrian power. "Scramble all available fleets," Vexstar ordered. "Show these primitive humans what happens when they challenge the Galactic Empire." Captain Steve Mitchell led the first wave of human ground forces toward the Zephyrian homeworld while the space battle raged around them. His Marine battalion had trained for 2 years specifically for this assault, and every soldier carried images of Emma Rodriguez in their personal equipment. "Remember what we are fighting for," Steve told his Marines. "Over the communication system. Remember that little girl lying in the hospital because these monsters thought it was funny to shoot her? Today we show them that humans protect their children." The Zephyrian fleet moved to intercept the human forces, but their outdated ships and predictable tactics made them easy targets for the advanced human weapons. Quantum torpedoes phased through their shields and armor as if they did not exist, striking the enemy vessels from dimensions they could not defend against. Commander Ryan Foster's strike team materialized inside the Empire's central command hub on Rigel Prime using dimensional transport technology that bypassed all security systems. The facility that coordinated military operations across dozens of star systems suddenly found itself under attack from within. "Plant the charges on the main computer cores," Ryan ordered his team as they spread through the command center. "We have 6 minutes before their security forces respond." Agent Lucy Torres activated the virus she had planted in the Andromedans communication networks, causing their entire information grid to collapse at the moment they needed it most. Years of patient preparation and careful positioning allowed her to cripple an entire species' ability to coordinate their military response. "The Andromedans are blind and deaf," Lucy reported through her encrypted communicator. "They cannot warn their allies or request assistance. The Empire's coordination is broken." The space battle around the Zephyrian home system lasted only 4 hours. Human ships equipped with weapons that seemed to violate the laws of physics systematically destroyed everything the aliens could throw at them. Enemy vessels that had terrorized weaker species for generations were reduced to cosmic debris in minutes. Admiral Cooper watched the tactical displays as the last Zephyrian warship exploded under quantum lance fire. The entire enemy fleet had been eliminated with minimal human casualties, proving that technological superiority combined with righteous anger made an unstoppable combination. Begin planetary bombardment operations, Admiral Cooper ordered. Target military installations, government buildings, and leadership compounds. Avoid civilian areas, but make it clear that the age of Zephyrian dominance is over. Captain Frank Walsh emerged from stealth near the Zephyrian capital city and began broadcasting President Katie Sullivan's message to the planet below. The transmission would reach every communication device on the world and ensure that the alien population understood exactly why humanity had come for them. People of the Galactic Empire, President Sullivan's voice echoed across the Zephyrian homeworld. You attacked our child. You laughed while she burned. You thought humans were too weak to respond to your cruelty. You were wrong. The footage of Emma Rodriguez being shot by the Zephyrian raider played on every screen across the planet. The image of the 8-year-old girl being thrown through the air by the energy blast served as justification for everything that followed. We are no longer asking for our place among the stars, the president continued. We are taking it. Any species that harms human children will face the full wrath of Earth and all her colonies. This is not a negotiation. This is a promise. Captain. Steve Mitchell's Marines landed near the capital city and began securing key installations while the orbital bombardment continued around them. The Zephyrian ground forces offered token resistance, but their weapons and tactics were centuries behind human military science. The government building is secured, Steve reported to Admiral Cooper. We have captured High Chancellor Vexstar and his senior staff. They are requesting terms for surrender. There are no terms, Admiral Cooper replied coldly. They will face trial for crimes against humanity, specifically for the attack on Emma Rodriguez. Their fate will be decided by human courts. Similar scenes played out across the galaxy as human strike teams emerged from hiding and launched simultaneous attacks on Empire facilities. Decades of careful planning and preparation allowed humanity to strike at dozens of targets at once, overwhelming the aliens' ability to respond effectively. The Galactic Senate on Centauri Prime received reports of the human uprising with growing horror. Prime Minister Korax had dismissed humanity as a minor species of no importance, but the destruction of the Zephyrian fleet in a single day forced him to reconsider that assessment. How many ships do the humans have? Korax demanded from his military advisors. Unknown, sir, replied Admiral Leck nervously. Our intelligence estimates were clearly inadequate. The technology they demonstrated today is beyond our current understanding. General Alex Turner coordinated the global assault from his command center on Earth, watching as human forces seized control of star systems that had been under alien rule for centuries. The carefully planned operation unfolded exactly as designed, with each victory building momentum for the next phase. Phase 1 is complete, Turner reported to President Sullivan. Zephyrian military power has been eliminated. Their government has been captured. Human forces control their home system and 12 colonial worlds. Begin Phase 2, President Sullivan ordered. Send surrender demands to every member species of the Galactic Empire. They have 24 hours to respond before we demonstrate. What happened to the Zephyrians throughout their territory? Emma Rodriguez opened her eyes in the medical center on New Haven Colony and saw her father, Carlos, sitting beside her bed as always. The pain was less than before, and she could think more clearly thanks to the new medications Dr. Lisa Park had given her. Daddy, Emma whispered. I had strange dreams about bright lights in the sky. Carlos squeezed her hand gently and smiled. Those were not dreams, sweetheart. Those were friends coming to make sure no one ever hurts you again. Are the bad lizard people gone? Emma asked. Yes, sweetheart, Carlos promised. They are gone and they will never come back. 6 months after the attack on Emma Rodriguez, Admiral Ben Cooper stood on the observation deck of the Retribution as it orbited the former capital world of the Galactic Empire. The planet below flew human flags from every major city and orbital station, marking the complete transformation of galactic civilization. The war had lasted only 3 weeks from beginning to end. Species that had dominated the galaxy for millennia surrendered rather than face the same destruction that befell the Zephyrians. Humanity's technological superiority and coordinated assault had shattered the Empire so completely that resistance became impossible. Captain Steve Mitchell walked through the corridors of the former Imperial Palace, now serving as the headquarters for human occupation forces. Captured alien leaders awaited trial in cells that had once held prisoners from weaker species. The halls that had echoed with plans to raid human colonies now hosted meetings about reconstruction and integration. The last of the Zephyrian War. Criminals have been processed, Steve reported to Admiral Cooper during their daily briefing. High Chancellor Vexstar and the raider who shot Emma Rodriguez are scheduled for trial next month. Good, Admiral Cooper replied. The galaxy needs to see that crimes against human children will always be punished, no matter how long it takes or how powerful the perpetrators think they are. President Katie Sullivan addressed the newly formed Human Galactic Federation from her office in Geneva. Representatives from former Empire species attended the session through quantum communication links, learning the terms of their integration into the new galactic order. The age of conquest and exploitation is over, President Sullivan announced to the assembled delegates. Under human leadership, all species will be protected and all children will be safe. Those who accept these principles will find places in our new federation. General Alex Turner reviewed casualty reports from the brief war and marveled at how completely human victory had been achieved. Total human losses numbered fewer than 500 soldiers across all combat operations, while entire alien fleets had been eliminated without causing significant damage to human forces. Our technological advantage was even greater than we estimated, Turner reported to the president. The quantum weapons performed beyond expectations and our dimensional warfare capabilities gave us complete tactical superiority, Dr. Nina Chun continued her work developing even more advanced weapon systems, though the need for them had largely disappeared with the Empire's surrender. Her laboratories now focused on defensive technologies and peaceful applications of the scientific breakthroughs that had made human victory possible. The quantum lance technology can be adapted for asteroid mining and planetary construction projects, Nina explained to the Federation Science Council. The same dimensional manipulation that destroyed enemy fleets can help us build better worlds for all species. On New Haven Colony, Emma Rodriguez took her first steps outside the medical center since the attack. The 8-year-old girl walked slowly through the community garden, where she had been picking flowers when the Zephyrian raiders arrived. Scars covered half her face and body, but her spirit remained unbroken. Dr. Lisa Park walked beside Emma, monitoring her patient's progress with quiet satisfaction. The advanced medical treatments provided by Earth's finest doctors had healed Emma's injuries as much as possible, though the physical and emotional scars would remain with her forever. The flowers are growing again, Emma observed as they reached the spot where she had fallen. Daddy says they planted new ones because the old ones were hurt too. Carlos Rodriguez watched his daughter from nearby, marveling at her resilience and strength. The little girl who had suffered so much had become the symbol of humanity's determination to protect its children. Her recovery represented hope for the entire galaxy. "Would you like to plant some new flowers, sweetheart?" Carlos asked Emma. "Yes." "Daddy," Emma replied with a smile that lit up her scarred face, "I want to plant flowers for all the children so they know they are safe now." Captain Frank Walsh completed his final intelligence report on the former Galactic Empire territories. Human administration had been established on thousands of worlds, and the transition to Federation rule was proceeding more smoothly than anyone had expected. "Most species are cooperating fully with integration procedures," Frank reported to Admiral Cooper. "The destruction of the Zephyrian fleet demonstrated that resistance is futile. Even the Andromedans have formally requested Federation membership." Commander Helen Brooks supervised the war crimes trials taking place on the former Empire capital. The proceedings were broadcast throughout the galaxy so every species could see that justice was being served for the attack on Emma Rodriguez and countless other atrocities committed during the Empire's reign. "The evidence against the defendants is overwhelming," Helen announced to the galactic media. "For too long, the strong preyed upon the weak without consequence. Under human leadership, such crimes will be punished regardless of the perpetrator's species or position." The Zephyrian who had shot Emma Rodriguez sat in the defendant's chair, his yellow eyes no longer showing the arrogance that had characterized his species for centuries. Footage of the attack played on screens throughout the courtroom while human prosecutors outlined the charges against him. "You targeted an innocent child for your own amusement," the prosecutor stated. "You laughed while she burned. You thought humans were too weak to seek justice. Today you will learn the price of your cruelty." Emma Rodriguez appeared on the courtroom screens through a video link from New Haven Colony. The scarred 8-year-old looked directly at her attacker and spoke in a clear, strong voice that carried throughout the galaxy. "I forgive you for hurting me," Emma said to the shocked Zephyrian. "But Daddy says you have to be punished, so no. Other children get hurt. I hope you learn to be nice instead of mean." The defendant broke down completely upon hearing the child's words. The same creature who had casually shot Emma for sport now wept openly in front of billions of viewers. The contrast between the child's forgiveness and his own cruelty became a defining moment of the trials. Agent Lucy Torres established the new Federation Intelligence Service to monitor potential threats to galactic peace. Her experiences during the war had proven that careful preparation and patient intelligence gathering could prevent conflicts before they began. "We will never again allow hostile forces to threaten human children," Lucy declared to her new agents. "Our network will span the galaxy and ensure that any aggressive intentions are detected and neutralized before they can cause harm." Commander Ryan Foster took charge of Federation Security Forces, the military organization responsible for maintaining peace throughout human space. The units under his command included both human soldiers and volunteers from allied species who had embraced Federation principles. "Our mission is protection, not conquest," Ryan explained to his diverse officer corps. "We fight only to defend the innocent and preserve the peace that humanity has established. Every action we take must serve that goal." The former members of the Galactic Empire adapted to Federation rule with varying degrees of enthusiasm. The Centaurians embraced human leadership after seeing the benefits of Federation citizenship. The Andromedans requested human assistance in rebuilding their communication networks. Even some Zephyrian survivors applied for citizenship in the new government. President Sullivan established the Federation Charter that would govern the galaxy under human leadership. The document enshrined the protection of children as the highest law and guaranteed equal rights for all species that accepted Federation authority. "Never again will the strong be allowed to prey upon the weak," the Charter declared. "Never again will children of any species face harm without justice." The Human Galactic Federation exists to ensure that civilization means civilization for everyone. Emma Rodriguez celebrated her 9th birthday in the New Haven Community Garden, surrounded by flowers that had been sent from every human colony and dozens of alien worlds. Representatives from across the galaxy attended the celebration to honor the child whose suffering had changed everything. "I am glad that other children will not be hurt like I was," Emma told the assembled dignitaries. "Daddy says that sometimes bad things happen so good things can happen later. I think my scars help make the galaxy a better place." Carlos Rodriguez watched his daughter blow out her birthday candles and make a wish for all the children of the galaxy. The little girl, who had been attacked for picking flowers, had become the most beloved figure in human space, her courage inspiring billions of people across countless worlds. Dr. Lisa Park established the Emma Rodriguez Children's Hospital Network, using Federation resources to build medical facilities dedicated to pediatric care on every inhabited world. The hospitals would ensure that no child would suffer for lack of medical treatment, regardless of their species or location. Emma's recovery showed us what is possible when we refuse to give up, Dr. Park explained during the network's dedication ceremony. These hospitals will carry forward her message of hope and healing to children throughout the galaxy. Admiral Cooper stood once again on the bridge of the UHS Retribution. But now the ship served as a symbol of peace rather than war.